the metal pipe that you're working with right now? Is that the actual pump?
No, so the pump will be attached to this.
Okay.
So we'll lift this up, it'll hang, and then I'm about to screw it into the pump, and then we'll make the wired connection, and then it'll go down the hole.
Ah, okay. Thank you. What's the plastic pipe for?
So here they wanted a venti line, which basically allows you to send a device down the well, basically an electronic sounder, which measures where the water level is currently at. So right now the water level in this well is currently at 46 feet. And so when we start pumping, most of the time, the water level will change. It will normally go down when you're pumping water out of the hole.
Sure.
depending on how fast the well is recovering, which is water coming into the well from the soil, will dictate how far it falls and then stops while we're running. So, you know, on a good well, it won't fall very far, maybe a couple feet, and it'll never move from there while we're running. We can run 24 hours a day and never moves. On a bad well, we put it down there. It starts at 46 feet. We're setting this one today at 420, and then it would pump it all the way down to 420 and basically take a really long time to fill back up.
Okay.
So that there is, if we do encounter a problem like that, we can send a device down that pipe that will be along the side of this one to measure the water level while this is running. Because if you try to do it without that, it will wrap around the pipe and you'll never get your device out.
Okay.
So it's just a way to, you know, get to the water without getting tangled up in this.
Sure, that makes sense. So that rotates?
This? It doesn't rotate, it will go straight down. We'll put a device on it to actually stop it from spinning in there.
Okay.
It's just when you have 500 feet, if you drop something like another wire, like that device down it, most of the time it will kind of just, you know, gently spin around it as you're falling, and when you go to get out, it just ties into it, so you'll never get it out.
Got it. That is amazing material, isn't it?
The heat shrink?
Yeah.
Yes. It forms a watertight seal. Yeah, back before they had these, we used to use rubberized tape and like a liquid tape, which is kind of like a silicone sticky like goop we put over the rubber tape to actually seal it.
before that breaks down inside there and it needs to be replaced?
So the next time this will be pulled, it'll be because the pump and motor are bad.
Okay.
Most likely the motor will go out first, depending on how many times they cycle. Basically how many times it turns off and on.
Okay.
So pumps are kind of measured on cycles, not in time. Because, you know, some pumps might turn on once a week. Some might turn on 100 times a day if they're not being used correctly.
Sure.
So being the way this system is designed, this thing might turn on maybe every other day. So, I mean, I would expect at least 10 to 15 years before this thing's got to come back out.
Wow, that's great.
Unless like the water is like really, it's got a high pH, we can get electrolysis, and that's another reason for this tape here. We get stainless steel and we get galvanized with electricity next to it, and it creates electrolysis. And basically with the pH bad in the water, it'll eat a hole in the pipe closest to the pump.
Oh, great.
So that's why I like to cover the first 2 feet, because that kind of lets the electrolysis diffuse before it reaches the pipe, and you no longer, you know, encounter that.
Okay.
Most of the time, if you put this down without tape, I've seen it as fast as a year or 2 that it'll eat a hole right where the threads are on that coupler. Okay, ready. We're going to put it in the hole, and then we're going to grab a spider, the torque arrestor, and then we'll start the inserting pipe next to it.
And what are those for?
So this is the device I was saying, it's a torque arrestor. So
Okay.
when the pump kicks on, it creates torque. So if it's allowed to move freely, what will happen is this whole pipe will twist. So when the pump kicks on, it'll go like this
Uh-huh.
every time it kicks on and off. And what that does is if the wire is sitting against this PVC, even though it's 2 slick surfaces, over a couple thousand times you can wear a hole in the wire and get a short, stuff like that. So we'll take this device and we'll slide it up like this,
Ah,
which kind of wedges it out.
okay.
It grabs the inside of this well and then stops it from spinning when it kicks on.
Okay. help keep all the silt from going up there?
Yeah, and their device that they put in here, they're actually gonna, if I don't put a cap in it, if they don't know what they're doing, they can go too far and it'll come out the bottom. And then the same thing, it won't come back out. So put a cap in it, that way they can't, you know, mistakenly go too far. Drill holes, that way the water can still fill up the tube.
Sure.
And then it will fill it up as high as the water level is in here.
Okay.
If we have any water coming like from higher, it will actually give us a false reading. So we want it to come from the bottom up.
Okay. Is that the only metal pipe you're going to use then? Once it goes down, it's down?
Yep. As soon as it gets to the bottom, or the bottom of this hole is 700 feet. We're going down to 420.
Okay.
So we'll do the same thing. As soon as we get to the first one, you know, down, we do the same repetition. We'll do 20, 21 times. It'll be the same movements.
Okay, well once we get to the bottom of this one, I think that'll be it for me for right now.
So is the rest of that wire then, once you get past the metal part, is that just in the hole free?
What's that?
The wire that you're putting, the black wire? Or
This
do you...
wire is going to be taped along the whole length of the pipe coming to the top.
Okay.
So that's why we use a lot of tape. You know, that way, you know, tape can't rub or you know, cause problems with the wire. That's why we don't use any metal clamps or anything like that.
Okay.
It's a lot of tape. And this wire is pretty big because we're putting a 3-horse down here, and it's going pretty deep, so the wire's got to be on the bigger side of it.
Okay.
Nice. There it is. We're going to do that 27 times, 22 times.
With all those metal sticks.
Okay.
Yeah, all the galvanized pipe on the truck is going down this hole.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for the explanation. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.